How good is this course? Dan, this course changed my life, and I'm going to tell you why. I was here last year. I'm from Australia. I work in Perth, and if I can get this thing to work. So just wanted to give you an overview of my practice. I started my own refractive surgery practice about in 2019. Now at that time, I acquired the Schwinder Maris 1050, the special edition, so I thought I was really special, okay? I hired a IFS laser because at that time I was anticipating the arrival of the VisuMax 800. In my practice, I mainly treated pre-presbyopes. Wasn't really a believer in monovision Lasik, and I guess as most ophthalmologists in Australia, I treated presbyopic patients with clear lens extraction surgery. Now, my career took a change for the better in June of 2022. So I traveled to London to this specific course to mainly learn about Smile. Wanted to upgrade my surgical skills and learn more about Smile. I wasn't really interested in anything else. But I met this very little-known surgeon, Dan Reinstein. And so anyway, during this time, I was enthralled by all the lectures, and I listened to all the PRESBYOND lectures, and I thought this was really a gap, and this is a massive gap, not only in the state where I am, but also in Australia. So I went back to Australia, and I immediately contacted Zeiss. I had the Schwind, which is regarded as the best excimer laser in the world. Fair enough, it is an absolute magical machine, but I arrived back in Australia, and within the first month I sold my Schwind. Okay? I attended our local cataract refractive surgery conference, and I told all my colleagues about my plans, and obviously, as some of my colleagues, I see some friends here from Australia and everyone, it was a bit of a laughingstock, so I kept a bit of a low profile. Everyone told me, Lawrence, this is the biggest mistake that you'll ever make. Why? You've got that beautiful laser, why are you selling it? But you see, the thing is, I came to this course, I trusted my gut, I just stayed close to Dan and Timothy, and I went ahead. So I got my MEL in September of last year, and that's a bit of an overview of what I did. And as you can see that it's not a lot of refractive surgery. I mainly run a general ophthalmology practice with refractive surgery. My subspecialty is refractive surgery, but most of my presbyopes were treated with refractive lens exchange surgeries, and I'm more in the extended depth of focus lens camp, not so much in the trifocal camp. Because I had the Schwind, I did dabble a little bit in PRESBYMAX, and if anyone here has a Schwind and you are doing PRESBYMAX, I would encourage you to stop with that immediately. I realize now that I was harming patients, and we look back, and 7 of those patients had to be reversed. They lost more than 2 lines of vision. So it was really a bad idea. It's not as sophisticated as PRESBYOND. Most of my pre-presbyopes were treated with Lasik. And I was doing about 40% of my cases were presbyopic patients. Now, if we look at the same period a year later, you can see we've increased our amount of refractive surgery procedures. PRESBYOND has completely taken over my practice. In the same period, I've done more PRESBYONDs than refractive lens exchanges, where I've done over 90-odd refractive lens exchanges. I've only done about 18 in the same period. And these were mainly patients that weren't suitable for PRESBYOND or had thin corneas or too high of an error for the excimer. Also started doing some smiles. And in the same period, if I have to compare the previous period to this period, how this was such an amazing and such a good business decision was our billings increased almost 3 times just because of PRESBYOND. Word of mouth, doing this very, very simple but highly sophisticated procedure. My earnings have increased, and I know we are doctors and we don't like to talk about these things, but essentially we are running a business. And so PRESBYOND, we've advertised it heavily, held lectures to the optometrists. We are now absolutely fully booked until next year already. I have to get 2 more consultants to keep up with the demand. And the beautiful thing about PRESBYOND is you do PRESBYOND on one patient, they tell their friends, and they come and they tell their friends. So the word of mouth in PRESBYOND, if you get PRESBYOND, this will be by far the best business decision that you will ever make. Now, taking it from here, so a bit of a thought is this course is essential. I think once you get back to wherever you come from, go through the lectures again. The beautiful thing about Dan is, I mean, I'm taller and bigger than Dan, but I think Dan is the biggest man in the world. And what he has given us with this procedure, giving us all these books, giving us all these lectures for free, for nothing. Take all these things and learn it and become a master of this. And this is what we've done in our practice now. Don't listen to the noise, don't listen to people, because I realize now, looking back, I was listening to people and listening to propaganda from people that weren't doing these things. They had no clue what they were talking about. So don't listen to them. You will be successful. If you take this on, you will be successful. I'm a prime example of that. Here, I've added an email that I got from one of my detractors. It's one of the guys that really laughed at me, and we have now in Perth, we've literally taken over the presbyopic market. And we all get along. We all, we're all colleagues. Even though we're in competition, we all really work well together. There's no real animosity, but I got this email, and I would love to share it. Have a read through that. One of my biggest detractors telling me that they're not converting their presbyopes. And I was sitting there reading that thing and thinking, since we've started this thing, it's been absolutely booming. And as a final thought, if I were you and you get back to where you're from, call the people at Zeiss and get into this. This will be by far the best thing that you will ever do. I cannot be more of a proponent of PRESBYOND. It is flippin' amazing, and next year, Dan will do mine. Thank you very much.